So a lot of our drivetrains end up getting built out long before the car gets over here. This engine and transmission has been put together for quite a while, I think over a year and a half. We built the engine, put it completely together here. Our friends over at Passon Performance did the transmission for it, so it's a correct date-coded, really nice transmission. So the engines that we do here, we send the short blocks out and have them built at a local machine shop that we've been working with forever, that do a phenomenal job. Then it comes here, we put the cylinder heads, trim it out, get all of the rest of it built out, the long block, detail it to where it looks like it's supposed to look. But starting it up, even though everything is new, still has the possibility of things blowing up. For example, not literally, but, well, that could happen too. You could have a freeze plug leak, you could have a cylinder head leak, you could have an oil leak drip, you could have no oil pressure. It could have all kinds of problems. So making sure that that's okay and hoping and praying that it is, because we really don't have a whole lot of time to go back and redo half of that stuff. So yeah, there's that added little bit of tension and stress and concern, at least at my level. Okay, absolutely. I'm here to help. For those of you who wonder why the paint burns off the exhaust manifolds, well, all I can tell you is the exhaust manifolds get up to around 400, 500 degrees. Paint really isn't designed to stay up to that, so it will, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll burn off. That's what I'm getting at. It'll burn off. And why did we paint them? Because Walter P. Chrysler painted them. So now that the engine's out of the woods, so to speak, it's not leaking and puking, it runs really well, that gets us so much closer to be able to put the drivetrain in this car. Again, one of our biggest goals right now is to get that drivetrain in it, get the wheels and tires on it, get that thing rolled forward so we can do all of the final button up. So yes, that is a huge relief knowing that engine is in good shape. So one of the more frequently asked questions I get, especially at car shows, is why did a Plymouth Cuda have this hood, another one had that hood, and then there's a third hood? I wanted to just clarify what cars got what hoods and what hoods were available and why. So let's just start with like the epitome of them all, the 1970 Hemi Cuda. Hemi Cuda was a complete package car. That was called a Hemi Cuda. It was a standalone package car. Mandatory was a cold air induction hood, the shaker. The sales code was in like November '96. Didn't cost any extra on a Hemi Cuda because it was standard. That's one hood. If you had an AAR Cuda, you would have had a cold air induction hood, but it was made of fiberglass. The sales code was November '94. If you had just a Barracuda, plain old-fashioned hamburger Barracuda 318 automatic, like go back to Kimberly Cook's little 70 Barracuda that we did, it has a flat hood. That's the standard hood on the non-Cuda car. But if you had a real BS23, BS27 car, a Cuda, you would have what I call the Raisin Brand hood. J54, Juliet 54, that's the sport hood. Now, just to toss a couple things at you here. The bubble on the shaker on all the Cudas was argent silver, except for one. If you had an FE5 Rally Red Cuda and an elastomeric front and rear bumper A22 sales code, you got a red shaker. Now, that means the bubble itself was red. The interesting thing here is there's nothing definitive about could I get an FE5 Rally Red 70 Cuda and just chrome outside mirrors, not part of that elastomeric group, regular bumpers, but still get the red bubble. We don't know the answer to that for sure. There's probably some literature in the form of a technical service bulletin that might explain that. Bottom line, 4 different hoods, the flat hood, the sport hood, the AAR hood, and the shaker. But if you had a shaker and you didn't have a red car, I guarantee you it left the factory in argent silver. So just a quick overview. You had 4 hoods. A standard hood on the non-Cuda cars was flat. The sport hood, J54, like on this car, that was standard on the Cudas. If you had an AAR, you had a fiberglass hood that was coated N94, and then N96 was your shaker. So, if you had a 70 Cuda that was N96 coated and it wasn't a red car, it was an argent bubble, guaranteed. So if you have any more questions, go to any of our social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ask your questions. We're going to try to knock them out every week for you.